Have you ever been uninvited from a family event because you weren't rich enough to be seen in public? That's exactly what happened to me 2 weeks before my sister's $2 million wedding. She called me on a Tuesday afternoon, voice dripping with fake concern. Unity, darling, I've been thinking. Your Honda Civic, it just doesn't fit the aesthetic we're going for. The parking lot will be full of Bentleys and Teslas. You understand, don't you? I understood perfectly. After 15 years of being the disappointing daughter who chose books over billable hours, I was finally being officially excluded from the family. I'm Unity Franklin, 35 years old, and I manage a public library in Connecticut. What my sister didn't know was that her wedding venue owner owed me something money could never buy. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. My typical Tuesday starts at 7 a.m. sharp. I pull into the Riverside Public Library parking lot in my trusty Honda Civic, the same car I've driven since graduate school. The morning sun catches the faded paint. And yes, there's a small dent in the bumper from when I helped move donated books last winter. But this car has taken me to every literacy conference, every home visit for shut-in patrons, every single place that mattered in my career. Inside the library, I prepare for our weekly Rainbow Readers program, a special session for children with autism and developmental disabilities. Today we have 12 kids registered, including Sophie Whitmore. Sophie's grandmother brings her in a different car each time, sometimes a Bentley, sometimes a Mercedes. But Sophie only cares about one thing: whether I've saved her favorite spot by the window where the morning light makes the dust motes dance like fairy dust. My phone buzzes with a text from Victoria. It's a photo from her latest wedding dress fitting at the Vera Wang flagship store in Manhattan. The dress costs more than I make in 3 years. "Isn't it divine?" she writes. "The beading alone took 800 hours. I type back, "Beautiful," then delete it. Type, "Congratulations," then delete that too. Finally, I just send a heart emoji and put my phone away. "Miss Unity!" Sophie's voice breaks through my thoughts. She's standing in the doorway, her grandmother Margaret behind her. Sophie doesn't speak often. Selective mutism is part of her autism, but she always says my name. "Good morning, sunshine," I say, kneeling to her level. "Ready for our story?" As Sophie nods enthusiastically, I catch Margaret watching us with an expression I can't quite read. Something between gratitude and fierce protection. Sunday dinner at my parents' Tudor mansion in Greenwich has been a tradition since Victoria and I were kids. The house, worth $3 million now, according to Zillow, still smells like Mom's rosemary chicken and Dad's expensive scotch. "Victoria just made senior associate," Mom announces before I've even removed my coat. "The youngest in her firm's history. Isn't that wonderful?" Dad raises his Waterford crystal glass. "To Victoria, carrying on the Franklin legacy of excellence." They clink glasses while I pour myself water from the tap. The Tiffany-framed family portrait on the mantel catches my eye. Victoria centered between our parents, taken at her law school graduation. There used to be another photo there, from my master's graduation. It's been in storage for 2 years now. "Unity, how's your library thing going?" Dad asks, the way you'd ask about someone's hobby. "Actually, we just received a grant to expand our special needs program." "That's nice, dear," Mom interrupts, turning back to Victoria. "Tell us more about the wedding venue. The St. Regis, was it?" Victoria launches into a detailed description of the hand-painted ceiling frescoes and the baccarat crystal chandeliers. "The venue coordinator said ours will be the wedding of the season, maybe even the decade." "When you finally do something meaningful with your life, Unity," Mom says, not looking at me, "maybe you'll understand the importance of these moments." I stand to clear my untouched plate. "I should go early morning tomorrow." "Oh, before you leave," Victoria calls out, "you did get the engagement party invitation, right? Last month?" The room goes quiet. Mom suddenly becomes very interested in her napkin. "What engagement party?" I ask. "Oh." Victoria's eyes widen with practiced innocence. "Mom, you forgot to tell her?" 3 days later, the invitation arrives. The envelope alone probably cost more than my weekly groceries. Thick vellum paper with real gold flaking on the edges. My name is written in perfect calligraphy. Ms. Unity Franklin. Inside, the invitation is a work of art. Gold embossed monograms, letterpress so deep you can feel every word. Victoria Elizabeth Franklin and James Smith request the pleasure of your company. The St. Regis, Connecticut. Black tie required. June 15th at 4 o'clock. For a moment, I let myself feel hope. Maybe things are changing. Maybe Victoria actually wants me there as her sister, not just as an obligation. I call her immediately. Victoria, I just got the invitation. It's beautiful. Oh, good. It arrived. Her voice sounds strained, distracted. Listen, about that. I already started looking at dresses. I know black tie means floor length, and I found this lovely navy. Navy? She laughs, but it's sharp. Unity, no. The color palette is blush and bashful. I'll send you the approved colors list. Of course, I'll find something appropriate. There's a pause. I hear her typing. You're definitely planning to come then? Why wouldn't I? You're my only sister. Another pause. Longer this time. Right. Of course. Family. Listen, I have to run. Client emergency. After we hang up, I stare at the invitation. The venue is only 40 minutes from my apartment, but something in Victoria's voice makes it feel like an ocean away. I prop the invitation on my dresser and start browsing for dresses online. Nothing too expensive. I need to save for a wedding gift too. Maybe I'll splurge a little. Get my hair professionally done. It's not every day your sister gets married. Tuesday, 3:47 p.m. I'm cataloging new donations when Victoria calls. Unity, we need to talk about the wedding. My stomach drops. Is everything okay? Actually, no. I've been discussing things with my wedding planner and we have a situation. She takes a breath. It's about your car. My car? The Honda. Unity, the valet parking will be full of Bentleys, Maseratis, Teslas. Your car would stand out. I laugh, thinking she's joking. Victoria, they're cars. They'll be in a parking lot. The parking area is visible from the cocktail terrace. The aesthetic is important. Every detail has been curated. You're uninviting me because of my car? I'm not uninviting you. Her voice shifts to that fake sweetness she uses with difficult clients. I'm offering you an alternative. You could come as part of the catering staff. I've already spoken to the coordinator. You'd serve drinks during cocktail hour, and then you could stay for the reception. At least that way, you'd have a legitimate reason to be there. My hand grips the phone so tight my knuckles turn white. A legitimate reason? I'm your sister. Unity, please don't make this difficult. I'm trying to include you. By asking me to serve drinks to your guests? It's better than not being there at all, isn't it? She sighs dramatically. Look, if you can't handle this mature solution, then maybe it's best you don't come at all. Maybe it is. Good. I'm glad we agree. I'll have someone pick up the invitation. We can reuse it for someone else. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone, then at the stack of children's books I was cataloging. One of them is about a little elephant who thinks he doesn't belong. I know exactly how he feels. I call Mom immediately. She answers on the fourth ring. Unity? I'm at the country club with the wedding coordinator. Can this wait? Victoria just uninvited me from the wedding because of my car. Silence. Then, oh, Unity. I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding. She asked me to work as catering staff instead. I hear Mom walk somewhere quieter. Well, darling, you have to understand Victoria's position. This wedding is important for her career. James's family owns 3 tech companies. The guest list includes senators, CEOs. I'm her sister. Yes, and she's offering you a way to attend. That's quite generous considering. Considering what? Mom sighs. Considering the circles she moves in now. Unity, you chose your path. A noble path, certainly, but modest. You can't expect Victoria to compromise her special day. Would you compromise if it were me getting married? That's different. You're not. She stops herself. I'm not what, Mom? Not important enough? Not successful enough? You're being dramatic. Victoria is just trying to maintain a certain standard. I laugh, but it comes out bitter. Right, standards. If you're not going to be reasonable, I'm not coming, Mom. Tell Dad I'm sick or something. Unity. I hang up and immediately call Dad. He picks up from his golf cart. Princess, what's wrong? I tell him everything. He's quiet for a long moment. Your mother and sister can be particular, he finally says. But Unity, this is Victoria's big day. Maybe just this once you could. Could what, Dad? Pretend to be the help? I'll talk to her. But we both know he won't. Not really. He never does when it comes to Victoria. I don't tell anyone about being uninvited. Not my colleagues, not my friends, not even my elderly neighbor who asks about that fancy wedding every time she sees me. Wednesday morning, I throw myself into work. The summer reading program needs finalizing. There are grant applications to review. 3 new families have registered for Rainbow Readers. You okay, Unity? My assistant, Marcus, sets a coffee on my desk. You've been staring at that same page for 10 minutes. Just thinking about the expansion proposal. He doesn't look convinced, but doesn't push. That's what I love about this place. We respect each other's silence. An email notification pops up. Margaret Whitmore. Subject: Library Expansion Discussion. Dear Unity, I've been reviewing the board's proposal for the new sensory room. I'd like to discuss increasing my foundation's contribution. Would next week work for a meeting? Best, Margaret. I type back immediately, confirming my availability. The Whitmore Foundation has been our biggest supporter since Sophie started coming to the library. Margaret never mentions it directly, but I know it's her way of saying thank you. Miss Unity, Sophie's voice carries across the library. It's not our usual day, but there she is with Margaret. We were nearby, Margaret explains. Sophie insisted on stopping to show you something. Sophie holds up a piece of paper. It's a drawing of 2 figures reading together. You and me, she says clearly. These are the moments that matter, not wedding invitations, or Vera Wang dresses or approved color palettes. This, a little girl finding her voice, 1 word at a time. It's perfect, Sophie. Should we hang it in our reading corner? As Sophie nods enthusiastically, I catch Margaret's eye. There's that look again, fierce gratitude mixed with something else. Protection? Understanding? Dignity isn't about being invited to the table, I tell myself later. It's about knowing your worth when you're not. Looking at Sophie now, it's hard to believe where we started a year ago. Margaret had brought her in on a rainy Thursday. Sophie was 7, completely nonverbal, diagnosed with autism at 3. They'd tried everything: the best therapists money could buy, specialized schools in Switzerland, experimental treatments not yet FDA approved. We've seen 14 specialists, Margaret told me that first day, her usual composure cracking. They all say the same thing: she may never speak. Sophie had hidden behind Margaret's Chanel suit, peeking out occasionally. I didn't try to force interaction. Instead, I simply started reading aloud from The Rabbit Listened, a book about being present without demanding words. For 6 months, we met twice a week. Sophie would sit exactly 3 feet away, no closer, no farther. I read. She listened. I never asked her to speak, never pushed. I just created a safe space where words were gifts, not expectations. The breakthrough came on a snowy December morning. I was reading The Snowy Day when Sophie suddenly moved closer, then closer still. Finally, she pointed at the picture of footprints in snow. Unity, she said. Clear as a bell. Unity read. Margaret burst into tears. She actually collapsed into one of our tiny children's chairs, designer handbag forgotten on the floor, sobbing like her heart would break. You gave me my granddaughter's voice, she said between sobs. Do you understand? You gave me her voice. Later, she tried to write a check for $100,000 as a thank you. I refused. This isn't about money, Margaret. It never was. She looked at me for a long moment. No, it isn't. Which is exactly why you're extraordinary. She sent a handwritten letter instead. I still have it, tucked in my desk drawer. Some things are worth more than gold-flaked invitations. Victoria's Instagram becomes a window into a world I'll never enter. Every post is perfectly curated. Today, it's a video tour of the St. Regis Ballroom. 100,000 Ecuadorian roses are being installed by a team of 20 florists. The ceiling is draped in silk that cost more per yard than my monthly car payment. Final walkthrough, Victoria chirps to her 40,000 followers. Can you believe this is really happening? The camera pans across the space. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbows on marble floors. The New York Philharmonic String Quartet is doing sound checks. Each table setting includes 7 different forks. The comments pour in. Goals! This is what dreams are made of. Your sister must be so excited. Then one comment stops me cold. Does MW know about this? It's immediately deleted, but I saw it. MW. Those initials could mean anything. Or anyone. Marcus looks over my shoulder. That's your sister's wedding, right? Damn, that's fancy. Yeah. You going to wear that blue dress you bought for the library gala? I close Instagram. I'm not going. He's quiet for a moment. Her loss. That evening, Mom texts me photos from the rehearsal dinner. Victoria glowing in a $5,000 Saint Laurent dress. Dad in his best tuxedo, giving a toast. James's family laughing at something Dad said. The empty chair where I should be sitting is cropped out, but I know it's there. 500 guests will witness the wedding of the century, I tell my reflection as I brush my teeth. And I'll be organizing story time at the library. My phone buzzes. Another text from Mom. Last chance to reconsider. The catering manager says they still need servers. I turn off my phone and go to bed. Friday afternoon. The wedding is tomorrow. Mom calls while I'm setting up for evening story hour. Unity, I'm calling one last time. Please reconsider. There's nothing to reconsider, Mom. Victoria might have been harsh, but she's under so much pressure. The Smiths are very particular people. James's mother was in Town and Country last month. Good for her. Don't be snippy. I'm trying to help. No, Mom. You're trying to convince me to accept being treated like hired help by my own sister. She sighs. You always were too sensitive. This is why Victoria what? Why? Nothing. Forget it. I have to go. The nail salon is expecting us. After she hangs, I look around the library. 3 homeless regulars are using the computers. A teenage mom is teaching her toddler colors with our board books. Mr. Mr. Smith, is in his usual corner, reading the Wall Street Journal even though his eyesight is failing. This is my world. It's not fancy, but it's real. My email pings. Margaret Whitmore again. Unity. I'll be in Connecticut this weekend for an event. Perhaps we could meet Monday instead. I have some exciting news about the expansion funding. I write back confirming Monday works perfectly. Another email comes through from an address I don't recognize. The subject line reads, "You should know the truth." I almost delete it as spam, but something makes me open it. Check the St. Regis event calendar for tomorrow. Then check the Whitmore Foundation Board of Directors. You deserve better. A friend. I stare at the message, then delete it. Whatever drama is brewing, I want no part of it. Tomorrow, Victoria will have her perfect wedding, and I'll have my peace. Saturday morning, June 15th. The weather is perfect. Clear skies, 72 degrees. Even nature is cooperating with Victoria's vision. I arrive at the library at 8 a.m., 2 hours before we open. There's comfort in the routine. Brewing coffee, booting up computers, arranging the returned books. My phone buzzes with family group chat messages. Cousin Jennifer sends a selfie from the bridal suite. Victoria looks like a princess. Aunt Patricia shares a photo of the champagne breakfast. Dom Perignon, naturally. I mute the chat and focus on preparing for our Saturday special program. Today we're doing sensory-friendly crafts. 12 families have registered. By 9:45, the library is humming with quiet activity. Mrs. Rodriguez brings her twin boys who are on the spectrum. The Johnsons arrive with their daughter, who uses a communication device. No Sophie today? Mrs. Rodriguez asks. Her grandmother mentioned they have something this afternoon. 10:00 a.m. Right now, Victoria is probably getting her makeup done by the team from Bergdorf's. The photographer, flown in from Milan, is taking getting ready shots. 10:30 a.m. The guests are starting to arrive at the St. Regis. Valets are parking Bentleys and Rolls-Royces, not a Honda in sight. 10:45 a.m. My phone rings. Unknown number, local area code. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Unity Franklin? The voice is professional, carefully controlled. Yes? This is Margaret Whitmore. I'm at the St. Regis for the Franklin Smith wedding. A pause. I'm looking at the guest list, and I don't see your name, but I do see a Unity Franklin listed under catering staff. Surely this is a mistake. My mouth goes dry. The library suddenly feels very quiet. Unity, are you there? I'm here. Good. Now please explain why you're not at your sister's wedding. Margaret, It's complicated. I have time. Her voice is steel wrapped in silk. Sophie and I are sitting in the parking lot. She refuses to go in without you. Sophie's there? Your sister's wedding planner called me yesterday. Wanted to confirm the Whitmore Foundation's donation announcement during the reception. Imagine my surprise when I learned this was your family's event. I sink into my desk chair. Around me, the library continues its Saturday morning rhythm. Children laughing, pages turning, keyboards clicking. Victoria felt my presence would be inappropriate. Inappropriate? The word comes out like ice cracking. In what possible way? My car, actually. She said my Honda would ruin the aesthetic of the valet parking. Silence. Long enough that I check if the call dropped. She uninvited you because of your car? She offered to let me serve drinks instead. Another silence. I hear Sophie in the background. Where Unity? Want Unity? Unity. Margaret's voice is dangerously calm. I need you to listen very carefully. Did Victoria specifically say you weren't welcome as a guest? She said I could come as catering staff or not at all. And your parents? What was their response? They think I should be grateful for the compromise. Compromise. She says it like she's tasting something rotten. Wait there. Don't go anywhere. Margaret, please don't. Don't what? Don't stand up for the woman who gave my granddaughter a voice? Don't address this insult to someone I consider family? It's Victoria's Day. I don't want to cause drama. My dear Unity, Margaret says softly, you're not causing anything. You're sitting in a library, serving your community, while your sister serves champagne to people she's trying to impress. The drama is about to be entirely of Victoria's making. 20 minutes later, Margaret calls back. I can hear commotion in the background. Voices, footsteps, a door closing. I'm with your sister now, Margaret says. You're on speaker. Victoria, tell Unity what you just told me. Victoria's voice is tight, annoyed. I don't understand why this is any of your business, Mrs. Whitmore. Because Unity Franklin is the reason my granddaughter can speak. Now answer the question, why isn't your sister on the guest list? This is ridiculous. I'm getting married in 90 minutes. Then you'd better answer quickly. I hear Victoria's sharp intake of breath. Fine. Unity doesn't fit the image we're projecting today. Is that what you want to hear? She drives a beaten-up Honda. She works at a public library. She shops at Target. My wedding is featured in Vogue next month. Every detail has been curated. Including your family? Especially my family. James's parents are worth $800 million. His mother went to Swiss finishing school. What am I supposed to say when they ask what Unity does? Oh, she reads picture books to children? You could say she performs miracles. Margaret's voice cuts through. You could say she does what money can't buy. She heals children who've been written off by every expert money could hire. That's very touching, but Victoria, Margaret's tone could freeze blood. Do you know why I chose the St. Regis for the Whitmore Foundation Gala every year? Why I invested $10 million in this property? Because it's prestigious. Because they promise to maintain standards of human decency along with their champagne standards. And excluding family members based on their vehicle choices fails that test spectacularly. Victoria laughs nervously. You can't be serious. You're threatening my wedding over my sister's hurt feelings? I'm not threatening anything. I'm simply reconsidering whether this venue aligns with my values. If you've ever been excluded by family because you weren't successful enough, you know exactly how I felt in that moment. But sometimes, the universe has a way of revealing who truly has power. If this story resonates with you, please hit that subscribe button and share your own experience in the comments below. Now, let me tell you what Margaret Whitmore did next. Something that changed everything. The phone line goes quiet except for Victoria's breathing, quick, shallow, panicked. Mrs. Whitmore, Victoria's voice cracks. Surely we can discuss this. We are discussing it. Unity, are you still there? I'm here. Good. Victoria, I want you to understand something. That woman you just dismissed, your sister, spent 6 months working with Sophie. No invoices, no hourly rates, just patience and love. That's her job. No. Her job is running a library. Sophie was personal. Every Tuesday and Thursday, Unity stayed after hours, unpaid, because she saw a child in need. I hear papers rustling. Victoria's wedding planner in the background. We need you in hair and makeup now. Tell me, Victoria, Margaret continues, what have you ever done that wasn't billable? When did you last help someone without calculating your hourly rate? This is insane. My wedding starts in 70 minutes. Then you'd better make a decision quickly, because I own 60% of this venue through my hospitality investment group, and I'm about to exercise my owner's discretion clause. You can't. There are contracts, which include force majeure provisions for ownership decisions. I had my lawyers confirm this morning. Victoria's breathing becomes hyperventilation. 500 guests are coming. Then you'd better decide what matters more, your sister's presence or your perfect aesthetic. This is blackmail. No, dear. Blackmail is illegal. This is consequence, something you're apparently unfamiliar with. I finally speak up. Margaret, please, don't cancel her wedding because of me. I'm not canceling anything. I'm giving Victoria a choice. She can welcome you as the honored family member you are, or she can find another venue. In 70 minutes. You're destroying my life over a nobody, Victoria screams. The silence that follows is deafening. A nobody, Margaret repeats slowly. Unity, did you hear that? You're nobody. I heard. Good, remember that. Victoria, you have 5 minutes to decide. I stay on the line, listening to Victoria's world collapse in real time. Get James, she shrieks at someone. Get the lawyers. Call my father. Margaret remains calm. 4 minutes, Victoria. This is illegal. I'll sue. Please do. I'd love to see you explain to a judge why excluding your sister justified breaking $1 million contract. I hear James's voice in the background. What's happening? Victoria, why are you crying? This insane woman is canceling our wedding because of Unity. Unity? What about Unity? Margaret speaks up. Mr. Smith, your fiancée uninvited her sister for driving the wrong car. I'm simply standing up for basic human decency. James's voice goes quiet. You uninvited your sister? It's complicated. You don't understand. Actually, I think I do. His voice is strange, distant. My sister Emma has autism, Victoria. Did you know that? No, because I never told you. I knew how you'd react. What does that have to do with anything? Everything. If you can exclude your own sister for driving a Honda, what would you do to Emma? That's different. How? Victoria makes a sound like a wounded animal. Mrs. Whitmore, please, I'll pay double, triple, whatever you want. What I want, Margaret says quietly, is for you to call Unity right now and apologize, then add her to the guest list, at the family table. The family table is visible from the entire ballroom. 3 minutes. Fine, fine. Unity, I'm sorry, okay? You're invited. Happy now? That's not an apology, Margaret observes. That's a hostage negotiation. What do you want from me? Sincerity. But since we don't have time for you to develop that, I'll settle for compliance. Unity goes on the list now, or everyone goes home. Victoria's next call is to our parents. She puts it on speaker. I hear everything. Mom, we have an emergency. Victoria, sweetheart, what's wrong? We're 5 minutes away. The venue owner is threatening to cancel the wedding unless Unity comes. Dad's voice. What? Why would the venue owner care about Unity? Because apparently she knows her. Margaret Whitmore. She's saying if Unity isn't at the family table, she'll shut everything down. Mom gasps. Margaret Whitmore? The philanthropist? She's worth $2 billion. I know who she is, Mom. But how does Unity know her? Victoria's voice drips venom. Apparently Unity taught her granddaughter to read or something, and now she's destroying my wedding over it. There's a long pause. Then Dad speaks slowly. Victoria, did you uninvite your sister? She wouldn't have fit in. That's not what I asked. Yes, fine, I uninvited her. Her car, her clothes, her whole situation. It's embarrassing. Another pause, then Mom quietly. Oh, Victoria, what have we done? What do you mean, what have we done? I'm the victim here. No, Dad says, and his voice is strange. No, I don't think you are. Unity? Unity? Are you on this call? I clear my throat. I'm here, Dad. Princess, I'm so sorry. I should have. It doesn't matter now. It does matter. Victoria, you will apologize to your sister properly. Right now. I already did. No, you negotiated. There's a difference. Margaret's voice cuts in. 2 minutes. The guests are starting to arrive. Some are already in the parking lot. The Rolls-Royces and Bentleys look lovely, by the way. Not a Honda in sight. Exactly as you planned. I can hear the chaos building through the phone. Car doors slamming, voices getting louder. Someone's live streaming. I recognize the tinny sound of Instagram stories recording. Mrs. Whitmore, Victoria's wedding planner pleads. The guests are asking why the doors are locked. What should I tell them? Tell them we're having a brief delay while we sort out the guest list, Margaret replies smoothly. The senator from Connecticut just arrived, someone else calls out. And the CEO of Hartford Financial, they're asking questions. Victoria is sobbing now. Please, 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 I'll do anything. You know what to do, Margaret says simply. I hear footsteps, then James's voice, closer now. I just spoke to 3 of my groomsmen. They're in the parking lot. People are starting to talk. Someone said they saw Victoria crying through the window. Let them talk, Margaret says. This is social murder, Victoria wails. No, dear. Social murder is telling your sister she's not good enough to attend your wedding. My phone buzzes with texts from cousins. Why are the doors locked? Is everything okay? Someone said the wedding is canceled? Then a text from Marcus. Unity, your sister's wedding is trending on Twitter. Weddinggate. What's happening? What's? I look it up. Someone has posted. At the St. Regis for Society Wedding of the Year. Doors locked. Bride crying. What is happening? The replies are pouring in. Rich people drama is the best drama. I heard the groom ran off. No, someone said it's about money. Then one comment that makes my heart stop. I heard Margaret Whitmore is involved. When she moves, mountains follow. 1 minute, Margaret announces. Victoria, what's your decision? Victoria makes one last desperate attempt. Everyone listen. Her voice is high, hysterical. We'll tell them it's a security issue. A threat was called in. We had to verify all guests for safety. And when the press checks with local police? Margaret asks mildly. Filing a false threat report is a felony. Then we'll say it was a power outage. The lights are clearly on, Victoria. Your guests can see through the windows. I hear the main doors rattle. Someone's knocking insistently. That's Judge Harrison, the wedding planner whispers. He performed your parents' ceremony 30 years ago. Victoria breaks completely. Fine, fine. Unity is invited. Add her to the list. Family table. Whatever you want. Wonderful, Margaret says. Unity, dear, can you make it here in 40 minutes? Margaret, Actually, no need to rush. Victoria will need time to properly add Unity's place setting. The family table will need to be completely rearranged. That's at least an hour delay. An hour? Unless you'd prefer to explain to 500 guests why your sister was excluded in the first place? Through the phone, I hear the crowd growing louder. Someone shouts, "Is this some kind of joke? I flew in from Tokyo for this." Victoria appears at the entrance in her wedding dress. I know because someone's live streaming it. She's trying to smile, but mascara tracks stain her cheeks. "Technical difficulties," she calls out with forced brightness. "Just a tiny delay. Please enjoy champagne on the terrace." But the damage is done. The comments are already flying. She's been crying. This is a disaster. Money can't buy class. Margaret's voice is satisfied. Actions have consequences, Victoria. Today you're learning that. James's voice cuts through the chaos. "Victoria, we need to talk. Privately, now." I hear footsteps, a door closing. They're still on speaker. No one remembered to hang up. "I can't believe you did this," James says quietly. "Your own sister." "It's not a big deal. Everyone excludes difficult family members. Unity isn't difficult. She's just not rich. Same thing in our world." "Our world?" James laughs, but it's bitter. "Victoria, I need to tell you something. Last month, when you were in Los Angeles, I met Unity." "You what?" "I wanted to meet your family, your real family, not the performance you put on. So I went to the library." My stomach drops. I remember that day, a man asking about community programs, staying for story time, watching me work with the special needs kids. "I saw her with those children," James continues. "The patience, the kindness. One little boy who couldn't speak started signing thank you to her. She cried. Actually, cried from joy." "So?" "So? Victoria, she's extraordinary. And you threw her away like trash because of her car." "You don't understand the pressure I'm under." "From who? My parents? They donate millions to autism research because of Emma. They would have loved Unity." "Your sister is different." "How? Because her disability is visible? Because she can't hide it like Unity hides her poverty?" Victoria's voice turns vicious. "If you love Unity so much, maybe you should marry her instead. Maybe I should have gotten to know her better before proposing to you. At least then I'd have known what kind of family I was really joining." Are you calling off the wedding?" James is quiet for a long moment. "I'm asking myself if I can marry someone who treats their own sister like hired help. And honestly, Victoria, I don't know." My parents arrive in the middle of the chaos. I'm still on the phone, an unwilling witness to my family's implosion. "What is happening?" Mom's voice is shrill. "There are 200 people on the terrace. Judge Harrison is asking if someone died." "Your daughter happened," Margaret says coolly. "Both of them, actually. One with too much cruelty, the other with too much grace." "I don't understand." Dad cuts in. "Patricia, Victoria uninvited Unity because of her car. Mrs. Whitmore is standing up for her." "Standing up? She's destroying the wedding." "No," Dad says quietly. "We destroyed it, years ago, when we started measuring our daughter's worth by their bank accounts." I hear Mom's sharp intake of breath. "Robert, not now." "Then when? When Victoria excludes Unity from Christmas because her gift isn't expensive enough? When she bars her from family photos because her clothes are from Target?" "You're being dramatic." "Am I? Patricia, look at your daughter. Look what we've created." Through someone's Instagram story, I can see them, Mom in her Cartier jewelry, Dad in his custom tuxedo, Victoria in her $150,000 dress, all standing in an empty ballroom meant for 500. We did this, Dad continues. Every time we praised Victoria's salary and ignored Unity's service. Every time we centered Victoria in family photos. Every time we forgot to invite Unity to things. She wouldn't have enjoyed. How would we know? We never asked. Mom turns to Victoria. Fix this. Now. I tried. She won't come. Not Unity, Mrs. Whitmore. Margaret laughs. Oh, I'm not the one who needs fixing, Mrs. Franklin. Your family is. Mom's voice cracks. Please, this is our daughter's wedding day. Yes. And you excluded your other daughter from it. Explain that to your guests. Margaret takes control with the authority of someone who's commanded boardrooms for 40 years. Open the doors, she tells the staff. Let them all in. The guests flood into the ballroom. Senators, CEOs, social elite, all confused and curious. The whispers build to a roar. Margaret walks to the microphone at the front of the room. Sophie is with her, holding her hand. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Margaret Whitmore, and I need to share something important with you all. The room falls silent. When Margaret Whitmore speaks, people listen. Many of you know my granddaughter, Sophie. 3 years ago, she was diagnosed with selective mutism alongside her autism. We tried everything money could buy. Nothing worked. Sophie waves shyly at the crowd. Then we met Unity Franklin at the Riverside Public Library. Without charging a penny, without seeking recognition, she worked with Sophie for 6 months. Today, Sophie speaks, she reads, she connects with others. Unity gave us what billions couldn't buy, my granddaughter's voice. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Unity Franklin is Victoria's sister, and she's not here today because Victoria uninvited her. The reason? Unity drives a Honda Civic. Gasps. Actual gasps from the crowd. I cannot, in good conscience, host a celebration that excludes the very person who saved my family. So I'm offering a choice. Either Unity Franklin is welcomed here as the honored family member she is, or this venue closes now. Someone in the crowd calls out, "Where is Unity?" At the library, Margaret says simply, serving others as she does every Saturday. While we're here in our designer clothes, she's teaching children to read. The crowd erupts. Phones come out. The hashtag, #FindUnity, starts trending. Victoria, Margaret says, looking directly at her, what's your decision? My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. 50 texts, 30 missed calls. The library's landline is ringing non-stop. Unity, Marcus says, eyes wide. You're trending on Twitter, #3 in the country. I finally answer Margaret's call. Unity, dear, I've handled the immediate situation. Your sister has agreed to add you to the guest list. Margaret, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but let me finish. I've also announced to 500 of the most influential people in Connecticut that you're the reason Sophie can speak. Several of them want to fund your library programs. That's not why I help Sophie. I know, dear, that's exactly why they want to help you. I can hear the crowd in the background, restless, waiting. Margaret, I'm not coming to the wedding. I understand, but Unity, I want to make something else clear. The Whitmore Foundation is prepared to announce a $10 million grant for the library expansion, with you as executive director. The salary would be $500,000 annually. I nearly dropped the phone. Margaret, no, gee. This has nothing to do with today's drama. This decision was made weeks ago by the board. We were planning to announce it Monday. But given the circumstances, I think now is better. You can't buy my forgiveness for Victoria. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to ensure that every special needs child in Connecticut has access to what you gave Sophie. Your sister's wedding just happens to have gathered the perfect audience to hear about it. Through the phone, I hear her address the crowd again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that Unity Franklin will be heading our new statewide literacy initiative for special needs children. The applause is thunderous. My phone explodes with notifications. Unity, Margaret says softly. You don't need to come. You've already won. Through someone's Facebook Live, I watch Victoria's complete unraveling. She's alone in the center of the ballroom, surrounded by 100,000 Ecuadorian roses. Her $150,000 Vera Wang dress is stunning, but her face is destroyed, makeup running, eyes swollen, mouth twisted in anguish. This was supposed to be perfect, she says to no one, to everyone, to the cameras recording her breakdown. Everything was perfect. The guests have pulled back, forming a circle around her like she's contaminated. James is nowhere to be seen. She pulls out her phone, and I realize with horror that she's calling me. For the first time in 3 years, Victoria is actually calling me directly. I don't answer. She leaves a voicemail. Someone's still live streaming, so I hear it broadcast to the world. Unity, you win. You've always won. Do you know that? You have something I could never buy, never achieve, never even understand. You have peace. You have purpose. You matter to people in ways that can't be measured or invoiced. She's sobbing now, ugly, raw sobs that shake her whole body. I've spent my whole life trying to prove I was better than you. Six-figure salary, designer clothes, this fucking wedding that cost more than houses. And you just existed. Happy, content, loved for who you are, not what you earn. She looks directly at one of the cameras. I destroyed my own wedding because I was jealous of my sister's Honda Civic, because she doesn't need luxury to know her worth. And I need all of this. She gestures at the opulent ballroom. Just to feel like I exist. The live stream cuts off, but the damage is done. Victoria's fall is trending within minutes. Margaret texts me. She's finally learning. Pain is an excellent teacher. This is what happens when we measure worth by bank accounts instead of character. Margaret Whitmore just showed 500 wealthy guests that true power comes from gratitude, not greed. If you believe that kindness should be valued more than cash, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Now let's see how this family moves forward from complete destruction. Margaret Whitmore does something remarkable. She transforms disaster into purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, her voice rings out clear and commanding. We have a choice. We can leave now gossiping about family drama, or we can transform this moment into something meaningful. The crowd quiets, intrigued. The wedding is canceled. But we have this beautiful venue, extraordinary catering, and 500 influential people gathered. I propose we turn this into an impromptu fundraiser for the Riverside Public Library's Special Needs Program. Someone calls out, I'll pledge 50,000. 100,000, another voice adds. Within minutes, the wedding becomes something else entirely. The wedding flowers become auction items. The 7-course dinner becomes a charity gala. The champagne toasts become pledges of support. Margaret calls me again. Unity, we've raised $3 million in 10 minutes. Your program is fully funded for the next decade. I'm crying now, sitting at my desk in the library while Mrs. Rodriguez's twins play with blocks nearby. This isn't what I wanted, Margaret. No, but it's what those children deserve. Every special needs child in Connecticut will have access to what you gave Sophie. On the live streams, I watch as society's elite open their checkbooks. The senator pledges to push for state funding. The CEO of Hartford Financial commits to corporate sponsorship. Victoria is gone. Someone says she left through the service entrance, still in her wedding dress. James is at the bar, donating his honeymoon fund to the library. Mom texts me, Your father and I are pledging $100,000. It should have been your wedding gift. We should have valued you properly years ago. By the end of the hour, the failed Franklin Smith wedding has raised $25 million for special needs literacy programs. Margaret texts, Your sister gave you the greatest gift, the perfect platform to change thousands of lives. An hour later, they arrive at the library. All of them, Mom, Dad, and Victoria, still in her wedding dress. The Saturday families stop what they're doing. Mrs. Rodriguez's twins stare at Victoria's dress like she's a fairy tale princess. If only they knew the fairy tale had turned into a nightmare. This is the first time my parents have been to my workplace in 5 years. Unity, Dad says, looking around. This is incredible. The walls are covered with children's artwork. Thank you letters from parents. Photos of kids at various reading milestones. Sophie's drawing of us reading together is prominently displayed. Is that Sophie Whitmore? Mom asks, spotting a photo of Sophie's first spoken word celebration. Yes. Margaret Whitmore's granddaughter? The billionaire? She's just Sophie here. Victoria hasn't said a word. She's staring at a bulletin board titled Miss Unity's Heroes, photos of all our special needs readers. Then Sophie herself appears, running from the craft room. Miss Unity! Miss Unity! Look what I made! She stops short seeing my family, then does something extraordinary. She walks up to Victoria, tugs on her dress, and says clearly, "Pretty dress, but Miss Unity prettier, she has book magic." Victoria breaks down completely. She drops to her knees, designer dress pooling on the worn library carpet, and sobs. "I'm so sorry," she whispers. "Unity, I'm so sorry." Sophie pats her head gently, crying okay. Miss Unity says feelings are just words waiting to happen. Dad kneels beside Victoria. Mom joins them. For the first time in 20 years, my family is on the same level, literally on their knees in my world. Can you forgive us? Mom asks. I look at them, my successful, broken family, and choose my words carefully. I don't need apologies, I tell them. I need you to understand that my worth was never yours to determine. Victoria looks up, mascara streaked, desperate. I know that now. God, Unity, I know. I just watched 500 people choose you over my perfect wedding. They didn't choose me. They chose meaning over materialism. Dad stands, helps Mom up. We failed you. Both of you, actually. We taught Victoria that value comes from wealth, and we taught you that you weren't valuable. Both lessons were wrong. I don't want your guilt, Dad. Then what do you want? I think about it. Around us, the library continues its Saturday rhythm. Mrs. Rodriguez is reading to her twins. Mr. Smith, the elderly regular, not James, is helping a teenager with homework. I want boundaries. I want respect. And I want time to decide if I can trust you again. That's fair, Mom says quietly. More than fair. Victoria struggles to her feet, the wedding dress weighing her down. Unity, I need to tell you something. The wedding planner, the venue, even the dress, none of it was my idea. It was all for James's family, for Instagram, for people who don't even know my middle name. That doesn't excuse... No, it doesn't. But I need you to know that I lost myself so completely that I forgot you were the only person who ever loved me without conditions, without requirements, without expecting anything back. Sophie tugs on my hand. Story time, Miss Unity? In a minute, sweetheart. Victoria watches Sophie with wonder. She really speaks because of you? She speaks because she found her voice. I just gave her the space to use it. Something you never got from us, Dad says. The truth of it hangs in the air like dust motes in library light. My phone rings. It's Margaret, and she's on speaker with what sounds like a crowd. Unity, I'm here with representatives from NBC, CNN, and The Times. They want to cover your story. Margaret, no. Hear me out. This isn't about your sister's drama. This is about announcing you as the face of our national literacy campaign. 50 cities, Unity. We're replicating your model across America. Victoria gasps. Mom grabs Dad's arm. The salary, Margaret continues, is $500,000 annually, plus housing allowance and full benefits. You'll oversee a team of 200 specialists. The library goes silent. Even the kids stop playing. Margaret, I don't need. It's not about need, dear, it's about worth. And you're worth every penny. The board voted unanimously. Several members are here now wanting to meet you. Through the phone, I hear applause. Someone shouts, "We need more unities!" Victoria whispers, $500,000? In. Margaret's voice carries clearly. Oh, and Victoria, since you're listening, your firm called. 3 major clients have pulled their accounts, citing values misalignment. Apparently, the live stream of you calling your sister nobody didn't sit well with their diversity and inclusion policies. Victoria sinks into a children's chair, wedding dress billowing around her. However, Margaret continues, I've spoken with the head of our foundation's legal team. We need pro bono counsel for the literacy initiative. Interested in redemption, Victoria? Victoria looks at me, questioning. I nod slightly. Yes, she whispers. Yes, please. Excellent. Unity, there's one more thing. The Times wants to run the headline, Billionaire Cancels Society Wedding to Honor Humble Librarian. Your thoughts? I look at my family, broken and rebuilding in my sacred space. Change humble to proud. I'm a proud librarian. The applause through the phone is deafening. Within hours, the story goes nuclear. Hashtag librarian justice trends globally. The video of Victoria's meltdown has 10 million views. Someone creates a meme of her crying in the designer dress with the caption, "When you realize your Honda driving sister is worth more than your Hermes bag." I turn off my phone, but Marcus keeps me updated. Unity, Ellen DeGeneres tweeted about you. Oprah's people called. The Today Show wants you Monday. Tell them all no. But, Marcus, I'm not a circus act. I'm a librarian. Meanwhile, Victoria's professional world collapses. Her firm issues a statement. Ms. Franklin's recent actions don't reflect our values. She's been placed on administrative leave pending review. Someone leaks her company emails where she called junior associates worthless unless billable. The New York State Bar opens an ethics investigation. But the most viral moment comes from an unexpected source. Sophie's mom, Margaret's daughter, posts a video. 2 years ago, my daughter was trapped in silence. Specialist after specialist said she'd never speak. Then Unity Franklin sat with her twice a week for 6 months. No invoices, no publicity, just patience. Today, Sophie read a story to other kids. Unity didn't just give us Sophie's voice, she gave us hope. The video gets 50 million views. Victoria texts me, "I'm the most hated woman in America." I text back, "No, you're just learning what it feels like to be seen for who you really are." Is there any coming back from this? That depends. Do you want to come back as the same person or as someone better? She doesn't respond for an hour. Then, better, definitely better. Will you help me? I stare at the text for a long time before typing. We'll see. James comes to the library Monday morning. He's carrying the engagement ring in its Tiffany box. Unity, I need to talk to you. We sit in the reading corner, surrounded by picture books and beanbags. I officially ended things with Victoria yesterday, returned the ring to her parents. I'm sorry, James. Don't be. You saved me from a lifetime of shallow misery. He pauses. Can I tell you something? My sister Emma has autism. Severe, nonverbal. Victoria never knew because I was terrified of how she'd react. You hid your own sister? I'm ashamed to admit it, but yes. After seeing how she treated you, I knew Emma would be next. Bad for the image, she'd say. He pulls out his phone, shows me a photo of a young woman with his same kind eyes. Emma loves libraries, always has. When I saw you with those kids that day I visited, I thought about bringing her here. You should. We have adult programs too. I'd like that. And Unity? I'm donating my entire wedding fund, $200,000, to your program. It's what Emma would want. James, that's not necessary. It is. I almost married into a value system that would have rejected my sister. This is my apology to Emma, to you, to everyone Victoria and I might have hurt with our privilege. He stands to leave, then turns back. I'm also dating someone new, a special education teacher. We met at the charity gala that replaced my wedding. She bid on your signed books. Already? When you know what you don't want, it becomes easier to recognize what you do. And unity? Thank you for showing me the difference. After he leaves, I find a check on the table. The memo line reads, "For Emma and everyone like her." Tuesday morning, Victoria calls from a number I don't recognize. Unity? I'm in the lobby of my building. They won't let me up to my office. What happened? Security has orders. I'm supposed to wait here for HR. Her voice is small, defeated. There are 2 security guards watching me. An hour later, she calls again. They fired me, gave me 20 minutes to pack under supervision. My assistant wouldn't make eye contact. The senior partners said I'm a reputational liability. I'm sorry, Victoria. Don't be. You know what the managing partner said? We reviewed your billing records. You've been padding hours for 3 years. They were just waiting for an excuse. What will you do? I don't know. My reputation is destroyed. No firm will touch me. She pauses. Unity, that offer from Margaret Whitmore, about pro bono work for the literacy program. Do you think she meant it? Only one way to find out. That afternoon, Victoria meets with Margaret's legal team. They offer her a position, not as lead counsel, but as a junior associate doing purely charitable work. The salary is $65,000, less than a first-year lawyer makes. I'll take it, Victoria says immediately. You understand, Margaret's chief counsel explains. You'll be working for Unity's initiative. She'll essentially be your boss. Victoria looks at me. That seems appropriate. Later, she texts me a photo of her new workspace, a small cubicle in a modest office building. No windows, no assistant, no prestige. From corner office to corner cubicle, she writes. But for the first time in 10 years, I don't feel like I'm drowning. That's because you're finally swimming towards something real, I reply. Will you ever forgive me? Ask me in a year. Show me who you become when no one's watching. Monday, July 1st. My first day as executive director of the Whitmore Foundation Literacy Initiative. I pull into the reserved parking spot, right next to Margaret's Bentley, in my Honda Civic. The security guard smiles. Morning, Director Franklin. Love the ride. Thanks, Tom. It's got character. The entire library staff has gathered for a celebration. There's a banner. Congratulations, Unity. And a cake shaped like a book. Marcus whistles. 500,000 a year and you still drive the Honda? This car got me here. Why would I change now? Margaret arrives with Sophie, who runs to hug me. Miss Unity, Grandma says you're the boss now. Just of a bigger library, sweetheart. Same mission. Margaret hands me an envelope. The board wanted you to have this. Inside is a car key. I look at her, confused. It's to a new Honda Civic, she laughs. Top of the line, fully loaded. We figured if you're going to keep driving Honda, you might as well have one with working air conditioning. I tear up. You get it. I get you, dear. You don't need to change. The world needs to recognize your worth as you are. A delivery arrives. Flowers. The card reads, "Congratulations on your new position, your sister Victoria." They're not roses or orchids or anything expensive. They're wildflowers, the kind we used to pick as kids before money mattered, before everything got complicated. Marcus reads the card over my shoulder. That's actually thoughtful. She's trying, I say. And you? I look at the wildflowers, remembering 2 little girls who once loved each other simply, completely, without conditions or cars or salaries defining their worth. I'm willing to see who she becomes. My parents start therapy. Mom tells me this over coffee at a small cafe, not their country club, but a place I chose. The therapist says we created a golden child and a scapegoat, Mom admits. Victoria got the praise but also the pressure. You got the freedom but also the neglect. And we damaged both of you. Victoria doesn't know who she is without achievement. You don't trust that you're valued. Dad joins us, looking older, humbled. I spent 30 years as a surgeon, thinking I was saving lives, but I couldn't save my own family from my toxic values. What do you want from me? I ask. Nothing, Dad says. That's what the therapist made clear. We don't get to want anything from you. We can only offer what you're willing to accept. Which is? Accountability, presence, time, if you'll give it. Mom reaches for my hand, stops herself. May I? I nod. She takes my hand gently. Unity, I need you to know something. When you were 5, you gave your favorite doll to a homeless child at the park. You said, she needs it more. I should have recognized then that you were extraordinary. Instead, I spent 20 years trying to make you more like Victoria. And Victoria spent 20 years trying to be what you wanted. Yes, we failed you both. Dad clears his throat. We've changed our will. Everything's split equally. And we've established a foundation, the Unity Franklin Foundation for Childhood Literacy. Initial funding, $1 million. Dad, it's not an apology. It's an acknowledgement. You matter. Your work matters. And we should have seen that decades ago. Mom squeezes my hand. We can't undo the past, but we'd like to be part of your future, if you'll let us. We'll see, I say. One day at a time. 3 months later, Sophie gives her first public presentation. It's at the library's autumn fundraiser, with 200 donors present. She stands at the podium, wearing a t-shirt that says Future Librarian, that I gave her for her 8th birthday. Margaret sits in the front row, tears already streaming. My name is Sophie Whitmore, she begins, voice clear and strong. I am 8 years old, I have autism, and I want to tell you about my friend Unity. The room is silent, captivated. Before Unity, I lived in a quiet world. Not because I wanted to, but because words felt like mountains I couldn't climb. Unity didn't try to make me climb. She sat with me at the bottom and read stories until I found my own path up. She looks directly at me. Unity taught me that voices aren't just for talking, they're for connecting, for saying I love you and I'm scared and look at that butterfly. Someone sniffles. Then another. Half the room is crying. Unity reads to lots of kids like me, kids who think different, talk different, or don't talk at all. She makes us feel like superheroes, not problems to fix. Sophie holds up a book, the first one we read together. This book is about a rabbit who listens. Unity is my rabbit. She listened until I was ready to speak. And when I did, the first word I said was her name. She pauses, looks at the crowd. I want to be a librarian like Unity, because she showed me that quiet voices can tell the loudest stories. Thank you. The standing ovation lasts 5 minutes. Margaret can't stop sobbing. And Sophie runs to me whispering, "Did I do good?" "You did perfect, sweetheart. Absolutely perfect." Victoria starts volunteering at the library every Saturday. At first, it's awkward. She doesn't know how to talk to children, especially special needs kids. They don't bite, I tell her as she hesitantly approaches the reading circle. I know, I don't want to mess up. Then don't try so hard, just be present. Slowly, she improves. She learns that Tommy likes trains, that Maria loves anything purple, that Kevin communicates through his iPad. She stops wearing designer clothes, shows up in jeans and t-shirts. One Saturday, I watch her with a new child, a 4-year-old with Down syndrome named Lucy. Victoria is reading Corduroy, doing different voices for each character. Lucy laughs, a beautiful, uninhibited sound. You're good at this, I tell her later. It's the first time in my life I'm not performing, she says. These kids don't care about my degrees or my car or my clothes. They just care if I'll read another story. That's all anyone really wants, to be seen and heard. I never saw or heard you, she says quietly. For 32 years you were just background noise in my success story. And now? Now I realize you were the main character all along. I was just the cautionary tale. A month later, one of the mothers approaches me. That woman reading to the kids, is that the one from the wedding video? Yes. Huh, she seems different, calmer, more real. People can change, I say, when they want to badly enough. Victoria overhears. Later, she texts me. Do you think I'm changing? I think you're trying. That's a start. Is it enough? Ask me when you stop needing to ask. The lawyer's office smells like old leather and money. We're here for Grandma Franklin's final trust disbursement. She died 2 years ago, but there was a sealed codicil to be opened now. Ladies, the lawyer begins, your grandmother left specific instructions. The remaining $5 million goes to, and I quote, the granddaughter who serves others without expectation of reward. Victoria laughs bitterly. Of course, Unity wins again. Actually, the lawyer continues, she left extensive documentation. Timesheets, Ms. Victoria, showing your pro bono hours. Almost 4,000 in the past 2 years. Those were mandatory for partnership tracking. Yes, she knew. She also documented Ms. Unity's volunteer work. 20,000 hours over 15 years, unpaid, unrecognized, until now. He slides papers across the desk to me. $5 million. More money than I'll earn in a lifetime. There's also a letter. I open it with shaking hands. My dear Unity, your parents never told you, but I watched. Every Saturday at the library, every child you helped, every life you changed. You have your grandfather's heart. He was a teacher, did you know? Before he made his fortune, he taught special education. Victoria got the Franklin ambition. You got the Franklin soul. This money isn't a reward. It's a tool. Use it to expand your reach. Save more Sophies. Be the person you already are, just with better resources. All my love, Grandma. Victoria is crying. She saw you. All along, she saw you. She saw both of us, I correct. She just valued different things than Mom and Dad. What will you do with it? Build libraries, fund programs, change lives. I pause. Want to help? You'd trust me with this? I'd trust you to try. 6 months after the wedding that wasn't, our family has its first real dinner together in years. We're at my apartment, a modest 2-bedroom that horrified Mom when she first visited. Now she brings homemade lasagna in a regular Pyrex dish, not the Waterford Crystal. Victoria arrives in her Honda. She traded the BMW for something more practical. She's carrying a chocolate cake from the grocery store, not the French bakery. Store-bought? Mom teases gently. Unity's favorite brand from when we were kids, Victoria says. I remembered. Dad opens wine, $12 bottle from Trader Joe's. To family, he toasts. Real family. We eat and talk. About the library, about Victoria's pro bono cases, about Mom's new volunteer work, about Dad's free clinic. No one mentions salaries or status or success metrics. I have news, Victoria says quietly. I'm in therapy. Have been for 4 months. That's wonderful, I say, meaning it. The therapist says I have NPD tendencies, narcissistic personality disorder, learned behavior from trying to earn love through achievement. Mom reaches for her hand. Oh, sweetheart. It's okay. I'm learning that love isn't earned, it just is or should be. We're all learning, Dad says. After dinner, we look through old photos. There's one from when Victoria and I were 7 and 10. We're at the library, both reading, leaning against each other. We were happy then, Victoria says, before it all got complicated. We can be happy again, I suggest. Differently, but still happy. Even after everything? Especially after everything. We know what we lost. We know what matters. We know who we really are. Victoria hugs me, the first real hug in years. I love you, Unity. I've always loved you. I just forgot how to show it. I know, I whisper back. I know. 1 year later, Margaret hosts a celebration at the St. Regis. Same ballroom, same grandeur, but completely different purpose. It's the first anniversary of the Whitmore Franklin Literacy Initiative. We've opened 50 centers nationwide, helped 10,000 children, trained 500 specialists. The guest list is smaller, 100 people who actually matter to the mission. Sophie is our youngest speaker. Victoria, our pro bono counsel, presents the legal framework that made expansion possible. I arrive in my Honda Civic, the new one Margaret gave me, though I kept the dent from the old one transferred over as a reminder. Some things shouldn't be erased, I told the confused body shop guy. Victoria meets me at the entrance. She's wearing a simple dress from Target. You look beautiful, she says. So do you. I mean it. You look yourself, fully yourself. It's beautiful. Inside, the same ballroom where she melted down is transformed. Instead of wedding flowers, there are children's drawings. Instead of place cards with titles, there are thank you letters from families. Margaret takes the stage. A year ago, this room witnessed an ending. Today, it witnesses a beginning. Unity Franklin has shown us that worth isn't measured in dollars, but in difference made. The applause is warm, genuine. James is there with his fiancée and his sister Emma. Emma uses her communication device to say, "Thank you, Unity." My parents sit at our table, not the head table, just a regular round one with the other volunteers. Victoria speaks last. I once thought success meant being above others. Unity taught me it means lifting others up. I'm proud to call her my sister. More importantly, I'm proud to call her my boss. Everyone laughs. Even I laugh. The evening ends with Sophie reading a story to the room. The same room where my absence once caused chaos now celebrates my presence, and I arrived in the same Honda Civic that started it all. When Margaret calls me to the podium, I take a moment to look at the room. These faces once would have intimidated me. Now I see them as partners in our mission. A year ago, I wasn't supposed to be here. My car wasn't nice enough. My job wasn't impressive enough. I wasn't enough. The room is silent, respectful. But here's what I've learned. Enough isn't measured by others. It's measured by impact, by the child who speaks their first word, by the mother who hears "I love you" for the first time, by the grandfather who can finally read stories to his autistic grandchild. I find Margaret's eyes. She nods, encouraging. Margaret Whitmore stood up for me when my own family couldn't. She saw worth where others saw weakness. But more importantly, she showed 500 people that kindness matters more than luxury cars. Light applause ripples through the room. My sister Victoria is here tonight. A year ago, she uninvited me from her wedding. Tonight, she's our lead volunteer. She reads to children every Saturday. She provides free legal services. She's learning what I've always known, that service is the highest form of success. Victoria is crying, but it's different from that day. These are clean tears, honest ones. We've built something beautiful from something broken. 50 libraries, 10,000 children, all because one grandmother chose to value character over cars. I raise my water glass. Not champagne, just water. To everyone who's ever been told they're not enough, you are. To everyone who's been excluded for being different, you belong. To everyone who measures worth by wisdom, not wealth, thank you. The standing ovation lasts 7 minutes. But what matters more is Sophie running to hug me, whispering, "You're my hero, Miss Unity." That's worth more than all the Bentleys in the world. After the speeches, Victoria finds me on the terrace, the same terrace where guests waited while she decided my worth. "Unity, I need to say something, without an audience, without cameras, just us." "Okay." She takes a breath. "I spent my whole life trying to be somebody. You spent yours being someone who matters. I had everything and felt empty. You had nothing and were full. Victoria, please, let me finish. In therapy, I realized something. I didn't uninvite you because of your car. I uninvited you because your presence reminds me of everything I'm not. Kind, patient, genuinely valuable to others." She looks at the city lights below. You know what the worst part is? If I'd just been your sister, really been your sister, I'd have been part of all this from the beginning. Sophie, Margaret, the libraries, the lives changed. Instead, I was calculating billable hours while you were changing the world. You're part of it now. Because you let me. After everything, you still let me in. That's what family does. She turns to me. I want to fund something. A scholarship program. Full ride to college for kids from our literacy program. I'll use my trust fund. All of it. Victoria, that's $3 million. It's not enough, not nearly enough to balance the scales, but it's a start. You don't owe me. I owe those kids. The ones like Sophie, the ones I would have ignored or avoided. I owe them the chance you gave me, to be seen for who they could become, not dismissed for who they are. We stand together, sisters, on the terrace where it all fell apart. We'll call it the Franklin Sisters Scholarship, I say. Together? Together. Sunday dinner is at my apartment now. It's become our tradition. The last Sunday of each month, everyone brings something homemade. Dad makes his mother's soup recipe, the one he hadn't touched in 20 years. Mom brings bread she baked herself, burnt on one side. Victoria attempts a salad with too much dressing. I provide dessert, usually something simple, often imperfect. Remember when we used to compete over who brought the most expensive wine? Mom laughs, pouring 2-buck chuck from Trader Joe's. I remember, Victoria says. I once spent $300 on a bottle to impress you. And I pretended to taste the difference, Dad admits. This $10 wine tastes better because we're actually present for it. After dinner, we play Scrabble, not for points, but for the words themselves. Victoria spells sorry. Mom adds family. Dad contributes growth. I complete it with love. That's not connected properly, Victoria, the former lawyer, points out. Sure it is, I say. They're all connected. Just took us a while to see it. Later, as we clear dishes together, no hired help, just us, Mom says, I drove past the St. Regis today. They're hosting another society wedding. Good for them, Victoria says without bitterness. I hope the family actually shows up for each other. We showed up, Dad says quietly. Late, but we showed up. And we keep showing up, I add. That's what matters. Victoria's phone buzzes. It's a photo from Sophie. She's reading to a younger child at the library. The caption says, Being like Miss Unity and Miss Victoria. She included me? Victoria whispers, amazed. You earned it, I tell her. Every Saturday, every story, every moment you chose to be real instead of perfect. We're not perfect. We're not healed. But we're here together, in my small apartment with the second-hand furniture and the library books everywhere. We're finally a family. Margaret calls a press conference. Major networks attend, not for scandal this time, but for something unprecedented. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm announcing the Unity Method, a nationwide program that will revolutionize special needs literacy education. The PowerPoint behind her shows statistics. 50 pilot programs, 94% improvement in communication skills, 10,000 children served. This method, developed by Unity Franklin, will be implemented in every state. Federal funding has been approved, $2 billion over 5 years. Gasps from the reporters. Furthermore, Victoria Franklin has drafted legislation ensuring equal access regardless of economic status. It passed the House yesterday. Victoria stands beside me, professional but humble. She's learned to be background support, not spotlight seeker. A reporter asks, Ms. Unity Franklin, how does it feel to have a method named after you? It's not about me. It's about Sophie Whitmore finding her voice. About thousands of children like her. I'm just the facilitator. And Ms. Victoria Franklin, you were initially opposed to your sister's work? Victoria takes the mic. I was blind, privileged, wrong. I measured worth by the wrong metrics. Unity taught me that true success is measured in lives changed, not dollars earned. Margaret announces one more thing. The first Unity Method Center will open at the original Riverside Public Library, and Unity has requested something special. The parking lot will welcome all cars, Bentleys, Hondas, bicycles, because everyone deserves access to literacy. The room erupts in applause. Later, privately, Margaret tells me, "Your grandmother would be so proud." "You knew her?" "We served on a charity board together. She always said you were the family's true treasure." She was right. That night, the news runs the headline, "From Wedding Disaster to National Treasure, the Unity Franklin Story." But I'm not watching. I'm reading to Sophie and 3 new children in my library, doing what I've always done, just with better funding now. It's been 2 years since the wedding that wasn't. I still drive a Honda Civic. The new one has 50,000 miles on it now, from visiting literacy centers across the country. Today, Victoria and I are at the original library, preparing for story time. She's here every Saturday without fail, even though she doesn't need to be. "Why do you keep coming?" I ask her. "Because this is where I learn to be human again." Sophie, now 10, is our assistant, helping younger children find books. She speaks fluently now, but more importantly, she speaks kindly. "Miss Unity," she says, "remember when I couldn't talk? I remember when you were finding your voice. You waited for me. Everyone deserves someone who waits for them." My parents arrive with donated books. They're regulars now, part of the volunteer roster. Mom reads to the toddlers. Dad helps with building maintenance. They're grandparents to every child here. "You know," Victoria says, watching them, "we could have had this all along, if we just valued the right things. We have it now." Do you ever think about that day, the wedding? Sometimes. Do you wish it had gone differently? I consider this. If it had gone differently, we'd still be the same people. You'd still be chasing billable hours. I'd still be invisible to my family. Sophie's story wouldn't have reached millions. The Unity method wouldn't exist. So you're grateful I was horrible? I'm grateful we both became who we were meant to be. A new family walks in. A mother with a nonverbal child, scared, hopeful. Victoria immediately goes to greet them, kneeling to the child's level, patient and warm. This is our story. Not about revenge or humiliation, but about finding worth in unexpected places. About families breaking and rebuilding. About the power of being seen for who you really are. And yes, I still drive a Honda. If this story resonated with you, remember, your worth isn't determined by your bank account, your car, or even your family's approval. It's determined by the lives you touch and the integrity you maintain when no one's watching. Please subscribe for more stories of everyday people finding extraordinary justice. Share this with someone who needs to remember their true worth. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been excluded for not being enough? How did you reclaim your power?